المرسلين والعاقبة للمتقين أما بعد. In one of the last few ayats of Surah Taha, Allah Azza wa Jal, He says that whoever turns away from the remembrance of Allah, whoever turns away from the authority of Allah and Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, whoever turns away from the Quran, the dhikr, then Allah would have him go through a very miserable life. And then He will raise that person on the Day of Judgment in a state of blindness. This person will then say to Allah, قَالَ رَبِّي لِمَ حَشَرْتَنِي أَعْمَى. O Allah, why did you raise me up as blind? وَقَدْ كُنْتُ بَصِيرًا, although I used to see in this dunya, in this world. قَالَ كَذَلِكَ أَتَتْكَ آيَاتُنَا. Response shall be given that our verses came to you, our ayats came to you, the Nabi came to you, the Hadith came to you, the Quran came to you, yet you kept on neglecting them, you kept on forgetting them, you kept on not paying attention to them. وَكَذَلِكَ الْيَوْمَ تُنْسَى. So today you too shall be forgotten. Today you too shall be forsaken and neglected on the Day of Judgment. And these are very severe ayats. They apply both to the non-Muslims and the Muslims. We see that normally that the closer the person is to the deen and the more conscious of their religiosity they are, the more taqwa and zuhud that they have, it looks like the more they suffer in this dunya. It looks like the less of the wealth of this dunya they receive. And this is a very common observation, that the awliya Allah, the way you see them lead their life with such simplicity, and they have nothing to do with the dunya for the most part. And on top of that, they go through a lot of difficulties and hardships, but that is part and parcel of the iman. As a person who once asked Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, Ayyun nasi ashaddu bala'an ya Rasulullah, who is most severely tested by Allah Azza wa Jal? Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam replied, Al-Anbiya, the prophets, the messengers, they are the most severely tested and tried by Allah Azza wa Jal. ثُمَّ الْأَمْثَلْ فَالْأَمْثَلْ. And then those who try to be closer to them, and those that are best amongst the people, the sulaha, the righteous, the virtuous, then they too are tested very severely after the Anbiya alayhi salatu wasalam. This is why we have this one narration, one of the Sahabi, they asked this request of Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam that, Ya Rasulullah, on the Day of Judgment, I wish to be your Sahabi, that I wish to be your companion, and I wish to be next to you on the Day of Judgment. Of course, that was a very tall order, to be next to Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam on the Day of Judgment and in the Jannah, while we know that he will occupy the highest rank. So a person himself wishes to occupy the highest rank along with Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So basically the meaning of that is, he replied that help me help yourself. That now that you have made this wish and you have made this desire of your known, that you wish to be my companion on the Day of Judgment and you wish to be with me in Jannatul A'la, in Jannatul Firdaus, then ready for afflictions and calamities and trials and hardships will come to you faster than a water that drops from the top of the mountain to the bottom. That how fast the water comes down, similarly hardships and difficulties will come to you even faster. And this is the way that a person who decides to forego everything that is forbidden and he wishes to enter into complete submission of Allah Azza wa Jal and follow the commands of Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Now, quickly coming back to this, I would conclude that how Allah makes ma'ishatan danka, how Allah makes a person lives a miserable life or a very destitute life in this dunya, those who turn away from Quran and the ahadith of Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. First and foremost, that Allah takes away anything halal from them. So even though they have plenty, but that is plenty of haram, that is plenty of fire. يَأْكُلُونَ فِي بُطُونِهِمْ نَارًا. All that eating is fire and filling their bellies up with the Jahannam. And on the Day of Judgment, they shall come to understand the folly, the severity of their actions in this dunya. And the second thing is ma'ishatan danka, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would severely afflict them with punishment and torment in the grave of this dunya. At the moment they enter into their qabr, what they will see is the adhab, the punishment of Allah awaits them, and how the hadith are that the grave shall be made to compress upon that person to such an extent that his ribs would actually grind into each other. This is how Prophet ﷺ described the state of the qabr. And that is how ma'ishat and danka. In the qabr, in this dunya, a person will lead a very miserable life all the way till the day of judgment. And of course, the last meaning is that in Yawmul Akhirah, that he shall appear as the most poorest of people, having no good deed to his name. And then they shall be dragged to the fire of Jahannam. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us from all of that. And so because of that, and this applies to a Muslim as well, that even though you were born into a Muslim family, you were born into Islam, yet your iman did not benefit you. Yet you did not try to learn about your deen. You did not try to obey Allah and Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Never in your mind you thought that I have to submit to my Rabb, the creator who created me and who gave me everything, all the way till the end. All you were thinking was, it was I who did that. It was I who studied. It was I who invested. It was I who worked hard for everything that I have. And in the end, since you forgot Allah, وَكَذَلِكَ الْيَوْمَ تُنْسَى, on the day of judgment, that person shall be forgotten. And miserable and the most unfortunate are those who are forgotten and neglected on the day of judgment. Allah mentions in the Quran, those people, لَا يَنْظُرُ إِلَيْهِمْ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ, Allah will not look at them with His gaze of mercy. And those people who are not looked at by Allah with His gaze of mercy have truly failed on the day of judgment. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala look at all of us with His gaze of mercy on the day of judgment and in this dunya. Wa akhiru da'wana and alhamdulillah rabbil alameen.